He built his name in steel, horsepower, and precision, the quiet force behind Texas Metal and the mastermind of Ekstensive Metal Works. But in a shocking twist, Bill Carlton was arrested, leaving fans stunned and the custom car world scrambling for answers. What could have led to the downfall of a man known for discipline, focus, and no-nonsense leadership? The charges weren't just whispered rumors. Public records confirmed it. As news of the arrest spread, questions exploded online. Was this a misunderstanding, a personal failure, or something far more serious? What followed sent ripples through the show, the shop, and his loyal fan base. Silence from the network, mixed signals from the crew, and now many are wondering, is this the end of Texas Metal as we know it? In this video, we break down what really happened to Bill Carlton, how it impacted his empire, and whether the legendary builder can recover from this legal and reputational crash. Before the headlines and the legal drama, Bill Carlton was best known as the soft-spoken mastermind behind some of the most aggressive and beautifully crafted custom vehicles in the country. As the owner and founder of Ekstensive Metal Works, a Houston-based fabrication shop, Carlton built his career from the ground up, literally. What started as a small garage operation grew into a full-blown powerhouse of American custom automotive engineering. And when Texas Metal hit the airwaves on Motor Trend TV, Carlton's craftsmanship was finally brought into the national spotlight. Unlike other reality show personalities who rely on over-the-top theatrics or fake tension, Bill Carlton was the real deal. He wasn't a character. He was a craftsman. Viewers were immediately drawn to his no-nonsense demeanor, his calm leadership, and the jaw-dropping vehicles that rolled out of his shop. From full-frame rebuilds to body-dropped monster trucks and street-legal show cars, Carlton's work spoke volumes. And for fans, Texas Metal wasn't just a TV show. It was a masterclass in fabrication. Carlton was always more about the craft than the camera. He didn't chase fame. He wasn't flashy. He let the welds, paint, and precision speak for themselves. Over the years, he built up a loyal team of builders, welders, and specialists, many of whom became recurring faces on the show. Under his leadership, Ekstensive Metal Works became a respected brand not just in Texas, but across the country, known for pushing the limits of what a custom build could be. And then came the unexpected. To his audience, Bill Carlton represented consistency, a steady hand in an industry full of egos. So when news broke of his arrest, it was more than a surprise. It was a shockwave. How could a man who had built a reputation on control, professionalism, and high standards suddenly be facing serious legal trouble? As the public waited for answers, one thing was clear. The man behind Texas Metal had become the center of a very real and very public controversy. And it all started with a name no one ever expected to see in a headline: Bill Carlton. The moment news broke of Bill Carlton's arrest, confusion flooded the custom car world. Fans were blindsided. For someone as respected and seemingly disciplined as Carlton, the idea of criminal charges didn't fit the image he had carefully maintained on Texas Metal for years. But as local sources confirmed the incident, the speculation only intensified. The arrest reportedly took place in Harris County, Texas, where Carlton's shop, Ekstensive Metal Works, is based. Initial public records indicated that the charges stemmed from an incident occurring off the clock, not during filming or inside the shop. While the full details were not immediately disclosed, the charges were serious enough to warrant a brief detention and a scheduled court appearance. Depending on the source, the nature of the charges varied. Some claimed a personal dispute turned physical, while others hinted at a business-related violation involving improper documentation or permit issues. No official statement was released by Bill Carlton himself, and his legal team remained tight-lipped, adding even more mystery to the situation. What made matters worse was the lack of media coverage outside of car culture circles. This wasn't mainstream tabloid material, but for fans of Texas metal, it hit hard. Carlton had always been portrayed as a level-headed leader, a guy who didn't cut corners, who ran a tight shop, and who demanded respect through action, not attitude. That's why the arrest sent such a ripple through his audience. In the absence of hard facts, rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed it was a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. Others suspected deeper issues, unresolved tensions, legal battles behind the scenes, or personal pressure that had finally boiled over. What was undeniable was this: Bill Carlton was now dealing with something far more serious than a blown engine or missed deadline. His name was in the system. The court date was real, and the world was watching. The fallout from Bill Carlton's arrest wasn't confined to headlines. It had immediate consequences for both his shop and the show that made him famous. At Ekstensive Metal Works, operations reportedly became tense and uncertain. Longtime employees were left in the dark about what would happen next. While the shop stayed open, the energy shifted. The man who typically led with calm control was now dealing with a legal situation that could jeopardize everything he'd built. Inside sources suggested that the arrest led to a pause in filming for Texas Metal. Whether due to network caution, legal advisement, or personal choice, Carlton was temporarily less visible. Crew members were reportedly told to keep things moving, but without their frontman, the show's dynamic shifted dramatically. Carlton's presence was never loud or brash, but his absence was deeply felt. The production team and Motor Trend Network remained largely silent, offering no official statement to fans or press. This only added fuel to speculation. Were they distancing themselves, waiting to see the outcome before making a decision? Or were they attempting to quietly handle the situation behind closed doors to avoid damaging a valuable brand? Back at the shop, certain business operations were reportedly restructured. Some clients delayed or canceled projects, unsure about the future of the show or Carlton's leadership. Others, however, doubled down on their loyalty, claiming that a single incident wouldn't change the legacy of Ekstensive. Still, tensions reportedly rose behind the scenes, and there were whispers of delegation shifts, with senior staff stepping up to handle duties Carlton could no longer manage during the legal process. Whether temporary or permanent, the arrest had clearly shaken the foundation of Ekstensive Metal Works and the tight ship that Carlton had run for decades. For the first time, Texas Metal, a show built on smooth execution and clean builds, was now facing a messy, real-world complication. As word of Bill Carlton's arrest spread, the reaction from fans was immediate and intense. Across social media platforms, from Facebook groups dedicated to Texas Metal to Reddit threads and YouTube comments, the shock was undeniable. Most couldn't believe the news. Some outright denied it, calling it clickbait or misinformation. Others demanded answers, screenshots of public records, or a statement from Carlton himself. For years, Carlton had cultivated a reputation as a quiet, focused leader in a world filled with over-the-top reality TV personalities. He wasn't flashy. He didn't chase drama. So when the news broke, fans felt like it had to be a mistake. But as more details emerged, the conversation shifted, and the community became divided. Loyal supporters defended him instantly. Everyone makes mistakes. He's still the best builder on TV. Whatever it is, it doesn't change what he's done for the custom scene. Others weren't so forgiving. Some fans questioned his integrity. Others speculated about what else might have been happening behind the scenes. A few even began calling for Texas Metal to be canceled if the charges were serious enough. Then came the online rumor mill. With no public statement from Carlton or the network, speculation ran wild. Posts claiming to have insider knowledge began circulating, fueling misinformation. Photos were misattributed. Memes were made. The arrest became more than just a legal issue. It became an internet mystery, and everyone wanted a piece of the puzzle. Despite the chaos, one thing was clear. Bill Carlton's spotless public image had taken a hit. Whether temporary or permanent, the trust fans had in him was now complicated by questions, doubt, and a news story no one saw coming. And while the shop stayed quiet, the fans kept asking, what really happened to Bill Carlton? And what happens next? One of the strangest parts of Bill Carlton's arrest wasn't just the charges. It was how quietly it was handled by the media. Unlike other reality TV personalities who make headlines with every misstep, Carlton's legal troubles barely made a ripple beyond automotive circles. There were no national tabloid exposés, no entertainment news coverage, no cable news debates, just whispers, a few regional court record mentions, and a stunned fan base searching for facts. This lack of exposure raised eyebrows. Was it intentional? Was the story being buried by legal teams or PR managers? Given Texas Metal's value to Motor Trend and Carlton's respected reputation in the custom car community, it wouldn't be surprising if behind-the-scenes negotiations were at play, with attorneys and publicists working overtime to contain the fallout. Insiders speculated that Carlton's legal team may have pushed for media discretion, especially if the case involved sensitive or non-violent charges. And with no mugshots circulating online, many fans questioned whether the arrest had even happened, until court documents quietly confirmed it. Interestingly, Motor Trend remained silent, offering no official statement, not even a basic acknowledgement. The show's social media accounts carried on as usual, posting throwbacks, build highlights, and rerun promotions as if nothing had changed. This corporate silence only fed the conspiracy theories. Was the network protecting its star, or distancing itself to preserve the brand? What resulted was a strange information vacuum, one where facts were scarce, rumors were loud, and official channels said nothing. And in that void, the court of public opinion took over, forming its own narrative around a story no one wanted to fully tell. With Bill Carlton's arrest hanging over everything, Ekstensive Metal Works found itself in the crosshairs of speculation, stress, and sudden uncertainty. Known for precision, high-end builds, and an elite reputation in the custom automotive world, the shop suddenly had to navigate a problem far more complex than a rushed SEMA deadline: public doubt. Though the shop didn't shut down, several reports indicated that business operations shifted behind the scenes. Some long-standing clients reportedly pulled out of upcoming builds, uncertain about the company's future. Others asked for clarity or paused payments until the situation became clearer. In a business built on trust, transparency, and tight delivery windows, even the smallest disruption can be damaging. And this was anything but small. Carlton, who had always been hands-on in the shop, reportedly stepped back from daily operations while handling legal matters. Senior team members were said to have taken on more visible leadership roles, managing both workflow and customer relations to maintain continuity. There was also talk of internal restructuring. Shop insiders hinted at subtle changes, new responsibilities, delegated tasks, even silent revisions to public-facing materials. Some speculated that the team was preparing for a possible long-term shift, either Carlton's reduced involvement or a full PR pivot to re-establish credibility if the legal issues escalated. Despite the stress, the team held the line, continuing to produce quality work. In some ways, this tested the shop's legacy. Could Ekstensive Metal Works maintain its reputation without Bill front and center? Could the brand stand on its own merit if the founder's image was compromised? The answer wasn't immediately clear. What was clear, however, was that the arrest had created a pressure cooker, one where the shop's integrity, productivity, and public trust were now being tested daily. In the custom car world, reputation is everything. And for years, Bill Carlton's name was synonymous with quality, leadership, and quiet discipline. He wasn't the loudest, flashiest, or most attention-hungry builder on TV. In fact, that's why fans respected him. But after the arrest, the question loomed large. Was that image permanently damaged? Loyal fans rallied on forums and in comment sections, arguing that one incident couldn't erase decades of dedication and craftsmanship. They pointed out his spotless track record, his deep involvement in every build, and the lack of public controversies until now. For this group, the arrest was a bump in the road, not a total derailment. But others weren't so forgiving. In an industry where builders are expected to represent trust and precision, even a hint of personal controversy can cast doubt, especially when your name is on the building, the brand, and the television show. Some fans questioned whether Carlton's behavior off-camera matched the calm, composed persona shown on Texas Metal. Others speculated that this arrest may be just one piece of a much bigger story, and they wanted answers before continuing their support. Industry reactions were mixed. While many builders and collaborators stayed silent, likely out of professional courtesy or legal caution, a few quietly distanced themselves. Subtle changes appeared online. Partnerships paused, public endorsements removed, or branding shuffled. It wasn't a public takedown, but it wasn't nothing. Carlton himself remained completely silent. No social media post, no interview, no statement to clear the air. Whether advised by legal counsel or by choice, the silence only fueled further debate. To supporters, it showed dignity and restraint. To skeptics, it looked like evasion. At this point in the saga, Bill Carlton's reputation sits at a crossroads. He's either a respected builder caught in a moment of trouble, or a man whose image no longer matches reality. And the longer the silence lasts, the harder it becomes to tell the difference. After months of speculation, rumors, and mounting tension in the custom car world, fans were desperate for clarity. What happened to Bill Carlton's case? Was he charged, cleared, fined, silenced? Slowly, and mostly without fanfare, the answers began to surface. Not through bold headlines, but through public records and quiet court documents. According to official filings, the case did proceed to court, though much of the detail remained sealed or limited in scope. Whether due to Carlton's legal strategy or the nature of the charges, most of the public information revealed only the bare bones: a court appearance, a formal legal process, and a negotiated outcome. Insiders suggest the case was likely resolved through a plea deal or legal agreement, potentially involving fines, community service, or deferred adjudication. There was no evidence of jail time, and most importantly, no conviction that would prevent Carlton from running a business or appearing on television. This quiet resolution raised new questions. Was justice served? Was this handled privately to protect a TV brand? Or was it simply a personal mistake, dealt with accordingly? One thing was clear: Carlton was never officially canceled. No felony conviction, no formal termination from Motor Trend, no legal statement barring him from his work, while the silence from both his camp and the network remained frustrating for some fans. The outcome suggested that the storm, at least legally, had passed. But reputations aren't restored by court filings. They're rebuilt through action, and Bill Carlton's next moves would determine whether the custom car world and the television audience would fully welcome him back. With the legal cloud clearing, attention turned to the question everyone was asking: what happens to Texas Metal? Would the show continue with Bill Carlton in the lead role? Would there be a rebrand, a cast shift, or even a quiet cancellation? For a time, there was complete radio silence. Fans noticed reruns airing more frequently, fewer new episode announcements, and little to no social media promotion from the cast. The once consistent behind-the-scenes posts stopped. Filming updates vanished, and Motor Trend remained tight-lipped about renewal plans. Behind the scenes, speculation ran wild. Some insiders believed the network was testing public sentiment, watching how fans reacted before green-lighting new episodes. Others thought the production team was restructuring the show, possibly shifting the spotlight to other team members or recentering it around Ekstensive Metal Works rather than Carlton himself. There was also talk that Texas Metal might evolve into a new format. Same builds, same crew, but under a different name or leadership. A way to move forward while quietly distancing from the controversy. Despite the uncertainty, one thing was clear. The talent at Ekstensive was still unmatched. The team had proven they could produce jaw-dropping builds with or without cameras. And even if Texas Metal disappeared, the shop's legacy would continue, either on-screen or off. Whether Bill Carlton returns to lead the next chapter or passes the torch to the next generation of builders remains to be seen. But in the world of custom cars, where comebacks are just as thrilling as builds, anything is possible. In the end, the arrest of Bill Carlton did more than disrupt a TV show. It fractured the clean-cut image of a man fans once saw as untouchable. It was a moment that revealed just how fragile public trust can be, even for someone whose reputation was built on steel, precision, and hard-earned respect. For years, Carlton stood as a symbol of focus and discipline in a world often dominated by ego and flash. He didn't yell for the cameras. He didn't chase viral moments. He just built. And that's what made his sudden legal trouble so jarring. It didn't fit the brand, the personality, or the man fans thought they knew. And yet, perhaps that's what makes his story more human. Because even the most respected builders carry weight behind the scenes. Even the quiet ones face pressure, stress, and personal demons. The arrest didn't erase Carlton's achievements, but it did complicate his legacy. Now, with the legal process seemingly behind him and the shop still standing, the question becomes not what happened, but what comes next. Will Carlton speak out and reclaim his role as a leader in the custom car world? Will Texas Metal rise from the controversy and evolve into something new? Or will this chapter quietly close, leaving fans with unanswered questions and unfinished builds? Time will tell. What's certain is that Bill Carlton's journey from respected craftsman to controversial figure is now a case study in fame, fallout, and resilience. And for the fans still watching, hoping, and wondering, this isn't just the end of a scandal. It could be the start of a second act.